In the middle of a pandemic, what does it mean to start where we are, and how might the idea of the pause be of help? Good morning, happy Monday. It's going to be a great day. My name is Father Frank Buckley, and I am our host of our contemplative meditation group, Flourishing During Times of Uncertainty. We are delighted you are here. If you are new to the group, welcome. We hope you find a home, a community with us. The program is 3 parts. On Mondays, it's particularly focused to people who are new to meditation, to just to keep a beginner's mind, to help give you a few tools that might help you on the journey. It's a 3-part program. We begin with a little inspiration. Then we move right into the heart of the matter, the 20-minute silent meditation. If you've never done this before, fear not. It is really very doable and possible to experience a miracle in our everyday, ordinary lives. And then the very last part, it really, all of the great spiritual writers have said it helps not to just jump up and move into your day, but just take a minute or two to pause, take a break, and then we do the Ignatian or Jesuit examine where we just notice where God has been active and alive in our lives. And on Mondays, we just like to look at over the weekend. So, without further ado, let's begin. For the meditation, I'm sorry, for the inspiration, I'm drawing from 2 people today. Pema Chodron, Start Where You Are, and one of our daily meditators, part of our community, all the way from San Jose, and I'm happy to say a Bellarmine grad, go Bells, is Ken, sent me a beautiful, beautiful little reflection titled In the Pause. And Ken, maybe you can put down the writer and where you found it in the column to the left. Let's begin. If you're new to meditation, I find this little book, Start Where You Are, A Guide to Compassionate Living, very, very helpful. So let's begin. This book is about awakening the heart. If you have ever wondered how to awaken your genuine, compassionate heart, this will serve you. In our era, when so many people are seeking help to relate to their own feelings of woundedness, and at that same time wanting to help relieve the suffering they see around them, the teachings presented here are especially encouraging and to the point. When we find we are closing down to ourselves and to others, here is instruction on how to open up. When we find that we are holding back, here is instruction on how to give. That which is unwanted and rejected in ourselves and in others can be seen and felt with honesty and compassion. This is teaching on how to be there for others without withdrawing. Thank you, Pema Chodron. I think the question is how to be there for ourselves and for others. And in my own personal experience, I find pausing, I find contemplation, I find meditation extremely helpful. So here is the reflection that Ken sent, and it is called In the Pause. We live in a bustling world. There is the audible noise of people and machines. There is also the white noise of emails, texts, social media, and other distractions that permeate our days. As a society, we seem to suffer from silence deficit disorder. But observing silence is essential to deepening the inner life. Just as Elijah perceives the voice of God in a tiny whispering sound, God often comes to us in silence. Saint Benedict in his rule writes, "There are times when even good words are to be left unsaid out of esteem for silence." A few years ago, a young man named Greg Hindy embarked on a silent pilgrimage from New Hampshire to California. He wrote when he needed to communicate, he explained, "To gain perspective on your life, you have to step back and step back again." Now, few of us can accomplish what Hindy did, but there are ways we can practice esteem for silence within our busy, talky days. I try to pause periodically and block out the noise around me. Sometimes I slip away into an empty room when it is impossible to escape the company of others. I go to a place of silence in my imagination. It is my magic spot, swept clean of any daily concerns. We also observe, when we observe silence, we allow the soul to hear the small voice of an inner call. We awaken to our interior rhythms. We listen more deeply and are better able to perceive the needs of those around us. I like to think of silence as the pause between thoughts and action, the element that gives gravitas to the words we do speak. Silence not only opens us to rediscovering the world around us, it allows us to rediscover our inner world and ultimately God. Judith Valenti, Valente. She's a journalist, a poet, a retreat guide, and author of the recently How to Live, What the Rule of St. Benedict Teaches Us About Happiness, Meaning, and Community. Well, thank you, Ken, for that beautiful reflection this morning. And esteem for silence. Well, that's one of the beautiful things our practice, our morning practice does, is we prioritize this esteem of silence. We give, for those of you who are new, what Cardinal Bernardine described as giving the first part of our morning to God. And in my own experience and in others in this community who've responded the same, please feel free to put it in the chat column. When we do this, the world starts going our way. Our life unfolds in a way more beautiful than we could have imagined. So if you're new and you're wondering, well, how in the world do we do this? My mantra is that of Father Thomas Keating's centering prayer. The method is almost too simple to be true. We just sit down. and then we give this 20 minutes to God. We take the attention to the breath, to the stillness of our heart. We choose a sacred word of 1 or 2 syllables. We repeat it 5 or 6 times. Consciousness is always vertical. Then we just drop down and enjoy a little deep rest. Now, if you have a pulse and are conscious or human at all, I can promise you thoughts will arise. And when they do, we don't push them away. We just notice, return to the sacred word, repeat it 5 or 6 times, and then drop down to deep rest. So rather than give you a 3-unit lecture, let's jump right into the deep end and do it. One of the ways we flourish is we unplug. So from all technology. So try to find a beautiful, safe space wherever you may be, whether it's on the street or a park or your home. Just find a safe space. Turn off all technology. I'll set the timer for 20 minutes. I'll ring the bell to begin. We'll do a little guided meditation, and then we'll engage the sacred word and enjoy the miracle of our breath and to be alive. Let's begin. I invite you to find a comfortable position. You can lower the eyes or 3/4 closed, just something that feels safe to you. And we'll begin and end with this bell. Listen, listen, the sound of this beautiful bell returns us to our true home. As always, we begin with diaphragmatic breathing, that is, breathing deeply as possible into the lower belly 3 times. I invite you to place your hands on the belly and take the breath there. Inhale and exhale. Beautiful. 2 more times. Inhale and exhale. Bringing fresh oxygen to the brain and the body. Last time, deep as possible. Inhale and exhale. Continue to breathe on your own. Take the attention to the body. We start with the feet. I invite you to place both feet on the earth. My friend Suzanne just sent me a beautiful clip on grounding and how powerful it is for us. So I invite you to ground yourself. You can kick your shoes off if you'd like. To just place your feet on the earth. Allow the soles of the feet to make contact. Feel yourself grounded to the earth, our mother, and just know that she may be trusted. Take a moment to feel her energy. Connect, connect, connect. Lengthen the spine. Relax the shoulders. Anything you've been holding on to this weekend, just let it slip off the shoulders and let the earth receive it. Surrender. Just notice if you feel a little lighter. Moving towards the ventral front part of the body. Take the attention to the heart, the place the spiritual world touches the physical world. And as you stay with that connection to the earth, just notice what you feel within your heart. Finally, take the attention to the forehead, the areas between the eyebrows, and focus on an intention for today's contemplative practice. Take this moment to ask God for something you deeply desire, not being afraid to ask God for something really beautiful this morning. St. Ignatius, the founder of the Jesuits, will say again and again, God simply cannot be outdone in generosity. Focus on the intention. We'll seal the intention with an inhale and an exhale. Gently take the attention to the breath. Engage your sacred word. Repeat it 4 or 5 times. Then drop down to the ocean floor and enjoy a little rest with our contemplative community this morning. Please continue. We only have about a minute left, so for this last minute, we like to engage the ancient 17th century Tibetan practice of very simply just sprinkling a little joy over our meditation practice, our lives, and the world. Please continue. Very gently bring your attention back to the room. If the eyes were closed, go ahead, open the eyes. Let's circle the wrist one way, then the other. Stake the arms out, circle the arms, and then the other way. I just did a little yoga clinic this weekend. This is another good one. Just take one arm and touch the shoulder, then the other hand, and just squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. And then reverse. Squeeze for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Shake out anything you've been holding on to. Great job. If this was your first time ever meditating, A plus plus plus. Great, great, great. Amazing work. Now the next thing is to just make it a way of life. We just sit down, we give God the first hour of our day, and then we let go. And the way we always finish up is rather than jumping up and getting into the day, we just, as Ken sent us the little reflection, we pause. And the Ignatian or Jesuit examen is just about turning the gaze backwards. So on Mondays, we like to look over the weekend and just notice where God came alive for us. And feel free to write it in the little box on Facebook so we can continue to build a contemplative community here. So we begin by just trying to come to a little place of gratitude. And we kind of look over the weekend and we notice where God came alive. And for me, it kind of jumps right off the page. This Monday was again the food pantry at Blessed Sacrament. Saturday, Brother Henry came to me and said, "This is what church should really be about." It was just an amazing morning. We had the food pantry going on Sunset Boulevard. And then we, according to Dr. Foshi, we took the Mass from inside the church, which is, he told us all along, the worst thing you could possibly do for the virus is to contain it inside. Suggested we move outside. Blessed Sacrament did an amazing job with getting tents for the parking lot, made a beautiful altar. The sound system was magnificent, and had the RCIA Mass on Saturday morning out there. Father JT presided. And then it was very hot Saturday morning. We gave out close to 300 meals and, even more importantly, ice cold water. Anyone wants to contribute, the water is getting low. Send an Amazon card, send a check, and I'll buy more water and ice. Um, we've been really lucky lately. It just we went through bucketfuls of water and ice, and someone had even donated Fuji water, if you can believe that one. So that was great. And then just when I think it can't get any better, I looked up and there was Rob, who helps the parish on the finance committee, uh, telling me that he joins us in the mornings for our contemplative practice. And for me, this week, God has been a God of surprises. Rob is really one of my favorite people. He's always upbeat. He does amazing work with the school and the finances. And I'm used to seeing him when we were open on the Sunday at 11, the Jesuit Alumni Mass. So, yeah, Rob, I'm thrilled you're part of this community with us. And then lastly was another very one of those unusual situations. I love the San Francisco Zen Center, and they're doing a little workshop on recovery and contemplation. So I went to sign up for it, and I sent everything in, and I got a phone call from one of the monks who's putting it together, and he wanted to know if I was the same Frank Buckley who used to work at the MSC South, which is the largest homeless shelter in San Francisco, 400 beds for men and 50 for women. And he said many years ago uh, he was a resident with us, and I had taken him over to introduce him to one of the real saints in the world, Sister Mary, who was part of Father Alfred Center, a year-long drug and alcohol treatment program where you do the program during the day, during the afternoons, and you work at St. Anthony's Soup Kitchen during the day. It's a year-long program called Father Alfred Center. He not only did the program, he's been sober for 10 years and hugely engaged in the San Francisco Zen Center. So that really kind of has made my week. And again, I asked you all to do the 20-minute meditation over the weekend. Let me just disclose to you, it is challenging. I have a much harder time on the weekend. I could not be more grateful for this community that shows up every weekday morning, 9 a.m. Uh, I can never do this without you. My heart is just full of gratitude. God bless you. Have a beautiful rest of the day.